going to miss it.
Tell them to start without me. I need to check on Marie.
She'll be fine. You don't need to check on her every 5 minutes. Come on, it's starting.
Okay, you're right.
For the best part of my later years, I worked as a private investigator. I'd seen many a terrible case. Sadly, most of them unresolved. But in 1954, something terrible and far closer to home happened that I could not avoid. And it happened right here, in Dahlia View. The police are here. What on earth is all the commotion? Now, where's my camera? I need to see what's going on outside my window. Now, I can get a closer look. What on earth is all the commotion? That's Tony Morgan's blood. My God, I hope he's all right. Please let him be all right. Smashed plant pot. I must have slipped through it. I should have come to my window sooner. Harold Levy owns most of the flats in Dahlia View. I wonder if he saw something. Shirley Downs. She runs the Crow's Nest. Her office overlooks the courtyard. Bound during her production. Dear God. Charlotte May, Mr. Morgan's daughter, has been kidnapped. Old Mrs. Doer. She's usually peering through her window watching our neighbors. It's past her bedtime. It's too far away. I'll have to zoom in. Chloroform. What on earth? I wonder if Catherine is with them. Theodore and Annabelle McKee, I believe. I really should get to know my neighbors better. A kidnapping right on my doorstep. Who doesn't bear thinking about? Imagine if it was Catherine. Time to pay my neighbors a visit and see what they know. Charlotte May could only be 7 or 8 years old. Why would someone want to take her? It doesn't make any sense.
Hello, Mr. Conway.
Good evening.
Terrible what's happened, isn't it?
So you know what happened?
They're looking for a kidnapper. A search is about to start in the Pine Woods.
My sister, Shirley, she owns the pub across the way. The searchers are all meeting there first.
What do you know about the kidnapping, Mr. Conway?
Not much. That's why I'm talking to the pair of you.
You should talk to the old busybody over in her big manor house.
Mrs. Doer.
She knows everything that goes on here. I wouldn't be surprised if she saw the kidnapper.
I wouldn't be surprised if she was the kidnapper.
That's an awful thing to say.
Well, have you seen her? Always fawning over that little girl. All alone in that big house. Plenty of room to hide someone.
I can see that you've put a lot of thought into this, Mrs. McKee.
A little too much, love.
Well, I'm not the only one who thinks it.
Oh, blast. What time is it?
It must be a little after midnight by now, surely.
The search is starting without me. I have to get my coat. You'll forgive me, Mr. Conway?
Yes, good night.
Good night, Mr. Conway.
We'll talk again soon.
Excuse me, Mr. Conway. May I have a moment?
Do you know what's happened?
Never mind all that. Your daughter is a police officer, is she not?
She is.
Here, I found this.
What's this then?
A brooch. I found it on the floor here. It probably belonged to that poor girl. Thought I'd better pick it up before Shirley Downs gets her mitts on it.
What do you mean by that?
Never mind. Perhaps you can make sure it finds its way to your daughter.
I will, and thank you for telling me.
Just doing my duty.
Can you tell me what you meant about Shirley?
Good night, Mr. Conway.
Did you see anything else at all?
Just make sure to give your daughter that brooch.
Good evening, Mr. Levy.
Evening.
How strange times we live in when a girl can be taken on your doorstep.
You ain't wrong. It's a bloody mess.
Did you see what happened at all?
Nah.
How well did you know Charlotte May? You lived next door. You must have seen her a lot.
I hope they're gonna clean all this mess up tonight. I've got a business to run.
I'm sure this must be a great inconvenience to you.
That reminds me. Rent day tomorrow. Don't be late.
I haven't forgotten.
Good. Keep it that way, and we'll get along just fine.
May I ask what you were doing tonight?
No.
Miss Downs, do you have a moment?
I'm sorry. What did you say?
I can come back if you need some time.
No, it's fine. I'm just... I can't believe this is happening so close to home. Well, maybe I can.
What do you mean by that?
Not everyone in Dahlia View is as they seem, Mr. Conway.
Miss Downs, who are you referring to?
That son of a bitch right there, with the smug look on his face.
Mr. Levy?
Why not? I mean, what do you really know about him?
Well, I pay him my rent once a fortnight, but no other than that. I didn't really speak to the man.
Well, sadly I do. He's up to something. You must have noticed all the strange deliveries, coming and going at night.
You think he took Charlotte May?
I wouldn't be surprised.
I'm sorry. Miss Downs, what are you basing this on?
Experience, Mr. Conway. You'll excuse me, I need to help the police with their search.
There's Mr. Morgan. Hello, Mr. Morgan. My name is Robert Conway. I live in flat 23.
Yes, I've seen you around, Mr. Conway.
Well, you see, I thought I'd better come over and check you're okay. Some of our neighbors seem to be content just to stare. I'm so sorry to hear about your daughter.
Very kind of you. I'm sorry, but I'm late joining the search. I've been talking to the police for over an hour.
Of course, I understand. The police officer you spoke to was most likely my daughter.
Is that so?
Yes, she's a very determined young lady. If anyone is going to find your daughter, it's her. I was once a private investigator myself, so I know how her mind works.
Well, it's comforting to know I'm surrounded by such competent minds, Mr. Conway.
I'd like to offer my services too, if you'd permit me.
That's very kind, but I don't have money, I'm afraid.
Mr. Morgan, no. I'm a father myself. I meant to say that I'm at your disposal.
Very generous, but the police said that...
All I'd be doing is observing and talking to people. And if I find anything, I'll be sure to share it with Catherine.
Catherine?
My daughter, the police officer.
Right, of course.
That reminds me. I have this brooch. Does this mean anything to you?
That's Charlotte May's.
You see how the simplest detail can be overlooked, even by the police. Best to have as many eyes on the case, in my experience.
I see your point. May I have it back, please?
Would you mind if I kept onto it for a day or so, in case it was to have some use?
Yes, of course. If you think it would help. I would very much like you to return it, though.
As soon as I have something to report back to you. You have my word.
So, where do you suppose you'd begin?
Well, right here.
In Dahlia View?
Yes. It's my experience that it's usually someone who knows the victim.
Do you mean to tell me that one of my neighbors has my girl?
No. I'm merely saying that it's a logical place to start.
Now I see. That's why the police searched my house. Because I'm a suspect, I suppose.
That's the way it works, I'm sorry to say.
So they're not even looking for the real kidnapper?
I can assure you they will be.
Tell me, Mr. Conway, and be honest. Are you going to look for my girl?
I promise you, I'll stop at nothing until I find her. For now, I need you to think of anyone who could have taken Charlotte May.
I don't know.
Think. Anyone or anything at all.
Mr. Conway, who do you know who could do such a thing?
You see your point. Well, for now, perhaps try to get some rest. Charlotte May needs you to be strong for her.
You'll excuse me, Mr. Conway. I'm going to join the search and find my little girl.
That's fair enough, Mr. Good night, and good luck.
Good night, Mr. Conway.
Dad?
Catherine. I thought I might bump into you tonight.
Well, I shouldn't be here, what with you living so close. Conflict of interest and all.
Are you finished here?
Almost, yes. Are you okay?
Yes, I'm fine. It's poor Charlotte May I'm worried about. Anyway, look at you. I rarely get to see you in your uniform. You look good.
Thank you. I wish it was a little more comfortable.
Catherine, can I ask, what have you found?
I'm not allowed to tell you. You know that. Besides, I don't have all the details myself, and my sergeant isn't exactly forthcoming with new recruits.
Hang in there. You're an asset. They'll come to see how intelligent you are.
Thank you. All I can say is that it looks as though Tony Morgan's daughter has been kidnapped.
Awful news. May I ask why they're searching the Pinewoods? Do they know where the kidnapper went?
No. It's a dead end. We're clueless, but we can't be seen to be doing nothing. And the locals suggested the woods, so...
Dear God. I perhaps wonder if I should talk to my neighbors again.
Hang on, again?
Yes, Catherine, I've been thinking, and...
Dad.
What?
I know this is happening on your doorstep, but please don't get any ideas.
I'm a naturally curious person, you know that.
You don't do this anymore. Leave it to us, please.
Well, do the police have any ideas?
Dad, I mean it. Don't get involved.
Well, I'd like to help you.
I want to do this on my own.
I didn't realize what this means to you.
I meant to say, I want to do it the right way. By the book. Please promise me.
Okay. I promise. I'll leave the police work up to you.
Thank you. Anyway, I'd better be off. I have to make a statement before the morning press. My sergeant is finally trusting me with something.
Well, you'd better hurry. I'll look out for your article in the morning paper.
Right. I'm off. Please go back inside. You'll catch a chill.
Night, my love.
Night, Dad.
The last thing I want is to upset Catherine. I can tell how serious she is about her case. I've never seen her so driven. I suppose I'll still develop the photos I've taken of the crime scene. I might have captured something that the police did not. And I won't be stepping on Catherine's toes if I stay in my flat, out of the way. The police have marked out several pieces of evidence that are likely related to the attack. However, Mrs. Doe handed me a brooch that was found at the scene. Mr. Morgan later confirmed it belonged to Charlotte May. Could the brooch be a missing piece of the puzzle? I wonder if finding where the brooch was dropped could help build a better picture of the attacker's movements. So, if Mrs. Doe was right about where she found the brooch, it means the kidnapper must have come past her manor house at some point during the abduction. I forgot to give Catherine the brooch. There just hasn't been a good time. It sounds like I have mail. Now what's this? Mr. Morgan's note implicates most of his neighbors. I had suspected as much, but now I have something solid to work with. Catherine has asked me not to get involved, but I've already promised Mr. Morgan I'll find Charlotte May. I should have told Catherine there and then. I'm already involved. I can feel it again. That drive, that first pull at the yarn. It's all on this evidence board. Suspects, victims, items found at the scene. I have everything. All that remains is to watch over my neighbors until one of them makes a mistake, and I can still give Catherine her space. If the whole town is searching the Pinewoods, someone needs to keep an eye over Dahlia View.
Two 2,000 years later.
Theodore looks unhappy about. Theo, don't do it. Whatever it is, take pause of yourself. Theo, who are you talking to? Is that a practice swing? Dear God. What have I just witnessed? Annabelle is back at the door.
Okay, hurry. Go. Go!
What in God's name?
Shit.
What are you doing?
Well, if you would help me.
I'm not touching that thing.
That thing was your idea.
My idea.
I'd rather not state my purpose out here in the hallway where any one of your neighbors might be listening. Wouldn't you agree?
Of course. Why don't you step inside for a moment?
Excellent idea.
Performing later that night. I went to the shops at some point, I think. I didn't see Charlotte May at all that day, and I was out of town for most of the night. I think the last time I saw her was on the Wednesday.
Well, that was easier than I thought. clean bedding. Now, what's this then? This is it. The mallet I saw Theo use last night. I've got you. Did you hit Charlotte May with this? Damn, the McKees are coming. From talking to the McKees, it seems apparent that they were both in Dahlia View at the time Charlotte May was taken. Annabelle and Theo were clearly hiding something. I observed them getting rid of a rolled-up rug and saw Theo use a mallet for God only knows what. I can't currently prove it relates to Charlotte May, and a few questions still remain. I'm positive that Charlotte May was in that pantry, but can I prove the mallet was used to hit something living? £45 is a large sum. In my experience, the kind of money made on the black market. Theo doesn't seem like someone driven by greed, so what possible motive could compel him to kidnap and sell a young girl? That's right, I'm onto something. Now, what does the rest of it mean? That's it. The mallet must have been used to hit something living. The crystallization proves it. Then they carried it down to the boot of a car. The only possible motive I can see is that Theo needed money to pay for his mother's medication. A life for a life. Could Theo really be that cold? I got the impression that Annabelle was in charge. It's not enough. I can't accuse them without something solid. I'll have to keep an eye on the McKees and continue my... There appears to be a box of some importance under Harold's bed. Whatever it contains, he's not happy about it. I should call the police. No, I should gather evidence. He's furious now. Mr. Morgan looks petrified. Did Harold take Charlotte May? Did he attack Tony the night she was taken? No, I'd better get inside before my neighbor sees me. Let's see if I remember how to do this. Still got it. Finally. Time to take a look inside. What in God's name? Why is there a hole in the ground and a chain going into it? Charlotte, are you down there? Ah! Oh, dear God. I must be doing something right. Charlotte, are you down there? What on earth is all this? It's heavy. Dear God. What? Chemicals? I don't understand. Why? Did Harold Levy drug Charlotte May? There was a rag found at the crime scene. Is this what was on it? There's no way he would flood his own basement unless he was scared of the police searching it. I need my evidence board. This is far too damning to ignore. During our conversation, Harold Levy was imposing, attempting to intimidate me. It's clear the man does not like me, and the feeling is mutual. I'm certain he's up to no good, and I suspect it has something to do with Charlotte May. The chemicals I found appear to match the crime scene. No question there. There are, however, some things that still remain unanswered. Harold said he was listening to Kings of the Nile in his flat at 10:50, whilst Charlotte May was being taken. But can I disprove his alibi? A threatening note in Harold Levy's flat seemed to provoke his attack on Tony Morgan. Is this related to Charlotte May? The note accused Harold of illegal activities, but what evidence here proves it? That's right, I'm onto something. Now, what does the rest of it mean? So, Harold lied to me about his alibi. There was no way he could have been listening to Kings of the Nile on his broken radio. The stolen cars are worrying indeed, but don't seem to be related to Charlotte May. The chloroform-like chemical I found is my only real lead. He must have hidden those bottles for a reason. Ultimately, this is all conjecture. I can't prove he's taken Charlotte May. Am I wasting my time watching my neighbors? Mrs. Doer is old and frail. Is she even capable of such a thing as attacking a man and taking his child? I made Mr. Morgan an impossible promise, but if I stopped now, it was all for nothing. Now this is interesting. What is she doing under there? It looks like she's hiding something. But what is it? Well, that floorboard is my first port of call. Now she seems to be doing something. Dear God, that's not her at all. Mrs. Doer is in danger. Unless they're working together. I need to get a photograph of the intruder.
You there! Stop what you're doing at once! I said stop! You won't get away with this.
Oh, and Mr. Conway, there's no electricity. You might want to use the lanterns.
Now, to find out what our intruder was up to. Lord Doa. I never met the man. Got you. Another key. It's for the servants' quarters. At long last. Now, what do you unlock? And why would the intruder hide you? Let's see what Lady Doa has to say about
you. Now, you really are alone up there, Mr. Conway. Can I just remind you that... Shh. What is it?
Are you expecting anyone?
Another intruder, you mean?
Lady Doa, I'm serious.
Oh, my. I'll go and call the police.
Shh. You can't hide. My daughter is a police officer. You're clearly out of your depth. Please, if you're here... Stop. You won't get away with this.
Charlotte May, are you there?
I said stop! God damn this bloody chair. Charlotte, give me something. Were you here? There's something here. There has to be. There'll be no explaining this to Catherine. After the attack against me in Lady Doa's home, I'm left questioning everything. Was it one of the McKees? Harold Levy? Or someone else? My presence is clearly getting to someone. Lady Doa was downstairs at the moment I was attacked. I can't rule her out. I need to be sure what her involvement was. Only a few questions remain unanswered. Lady Doa claimed she was hiding her valuable items from her maid, Shirley. Can I prove Shirley was stealing from her? Good. Now to sort out everything else. Lady Doa clearly wouldn't have kidnapped Charlotte May for money. Why else would she want to steal a girl? That's right, I'm onto something. Now, what does the rest of it mean? It is possible that Lady Doa and the intruder worked together. Does anything here indicate that she could have helped the kidnapper? So, Lady Doa may have had motive after all. She lost a child and was clearly emotionally shaken by it, though it seems like that was many years ago, and I found no evidence other than she knew how to tie knots. Not very conclusive, if I do say so. Shirley, on the other hand, was stealing from Lady Doa. She knew her way around the house and had access to many of the rooms. She also had a good view of Tony Morgan's house and was talking about Charlotte May on the dictaphone message. Shirley, are you my attacker? Did you take Charlotte May?